Hey, what's up everybody, cmdrradix here bringing you another video. And ladies and gentlemen, the day I upload this video, it is going to be none other than Easter. Orthodox Julian calendar based Easter. So a lot of you will probably think I'm late. I'm not late this time. It's just we're on different calendars. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate that Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and upon those in the tombs, bestowing life. And I wanted to take the opportunity today to talk about how I've been going through a little bit of a resurrection as well, in a manner of speaking, not in the same level as, you know, descending into hell and then breaking out of... I didn't do that, literally. Figuratively, though. As you guys have probably been able to tell from the title, Resurrecting through Digital Minimalism, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's been happening in my life recently. A little check-in with cmdrradix, a little how you doing cmdrradix, what's up man? And I've been doing some digital minimalism stuff. Digital minimalism. Some of you who have been on this channel for a long time know that I have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with technology. I hate technology. I hate modernity. I hate living in the future. Part of the reason I hate technology is that I'm helplessly addicted to technology. That's where the love part in this love-hate relationship comes in. And you know that I've made videos, for example, talking about trying to redirect all my social medias to an RSS feed. That didn't really work out because there isn't really any good RSS-free programs out there that do it effectively, that interface with modern social media that effectively. I've talked about my first internet fast, an internet fast that... I have my video about my first internet fast, which is an internet fast that kind of led me towards converting to Christianity, all things considered. Then I have my essay on my Substack about another digital fast that I did. So I know that when I take a break from, for the most part, social media is really what I'm specifically talking about. When I take a break from social media, or when I use social media mindfully, let's say, not a break completely, but like actively trying to change your habits and how you use the websites or the apps or whatever, that usually leads to good things. I usually feel a lot better when I'm doing things like that, when I'm being more mindful of my internet use. And for the past year or so, I have not been using the internet mindfully, shall we say. So the past year, and then the past few months especially, have not been kind to me. I've had things like reflux esophagitis, which left me in great pain, and still causes issues for me even to this day. Then I had like a pretty bad cold, like back in December of last year, and then I had COVID back in like February of this year, and then I had another cold of which I am still recovering at the time of recording this video. I'm still sneezing all over the place. But all that to say, hasn't been a healthy year for the most part. And when you're sick and in pain and just in constant pain, there's not much you can actually do. So when I'm with all this pain, what do I do in order to spend time, in order to fast forward, shall we say, through the pain? What I tended to do was look at YouTube, watch YouTube, and browse x.com. And that became, you know, I have ups and downs with those websites, and since 2025 definitely was a down in the sense of I was using it not to the best impact on my life. What do I do with YouTube? I watch YouTube way too much. I watch crazy long YouTube video essays on things like a video game that I have never played, but the essay is like 11 hours long, and I will watch through the entire analysis of this game I've never played and have no intention on actually playing at any point in the future. And about the 5-hour mark, I start to realize I'm not actually going to be watching this, so I'm not actually going to be playing this, so why am I watching this? And then I continue through the other 6 hours of the video. And then, of course, X is terrible website that I browse constantly, or had been browsing constantly. But I was back in my bugman grind, as it were, on social media and YouTube constantly in 2025 going into 2026. And by, around the mid to late part of March 2026 is when I start to go, this kind of sucks. This is kind of terrible. There actually isn't that much YouTube I'm interested in watching. I'm starting to notice a lot of these analysis videos and essays kind of suck. The points the author brings up are kind of terrible. They're not really good analytical points. I'm noticing even things that I like. I like history, right? But I notice, okay, a lot of these channels, it's not like... I'm realizing that I could learn more history from reading books and learn more interesting and learn more accurate history through things like reading books. The stuff that I'm interested in on YouTube, I'm starting to realize there are other routes to go about it. And it doesn't help that we're starting to see this boom of AI-generated content slop. I'm noticing on YouTube it's very easy to run into an AI channel, as in a channel that's basically all AI. The videos are made by AI, the voice is AI, the visuals generated are AI. And I'm getting tired of seeing a bunch of AI stuff, to be frank with you, to be honest with you. And even channels where it's an actual person running the channel, but they can use like AI visuals or whatever, I'm starting to get tired of that. And then there are some channels where I'm listening to what they're saying, and I'm starting to think, are you actually... Like, it is a real person saying these things, but I'm wondering, did you write the script that you're using, or is it AI? And I'm starting to find a lot of channels that are like that, where the script is AI, and you can tell if you've consumed enough AI content, read enough AI chat logs, you're going to be able to identify when a person is speaking in AI language. It's weird. They do a lot of, it's not blah blah blah, it's blah blah blah. And that usually that second blah 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 doesn't necessarily contradict the first blah blah blah. And it's also sometimes not even that different from, it's not a square. It's a rectangle. Or even worse, where they say something like, it's not hiking, it's an outdoor experience. And it's like, oh, okay, alright, buddy. So there is a general slopification of the internet that I'm really hating to see. I already have a weak brain. That sentence I just said does not make grammatical sense. But then there's all these studies that have popped up about how contact with AI can affect your thinking skills. And no thank you. My thinking skills are as weak as I would like them to be. I would like them to be better. So the less contact I have with AI, the better. And of course, Twitter, x.com. You're getting a whole influx of all this AI stuff, AI-generated art, AI-generated tweets, AI-generated accounts. Not only with Twitter, okay, Twitter, X. When you're dealing with X, you're dealing with AI, you're dealing with bots, you're dealing with people from the third world who are getting internet access because Elon Musk keeps putting Starlink there. You're getting weird crypto bros. You're getting brainlets who have no inner monologue. There's just so much on X that it's overwhelming in its quality. Whatever fun used to be had on there, I am not having as much fun. And then there's Instagram, right? Which I had been scrolling through Instagram a lot, even in February. And like with Instagram, with all these reels, you get a bunch of AI, of course. You get a bunch of AI crap. You get the same song being played over and over and over and over on this different reels. I don't know why. My algorithm keeps showing me people like mourning a loved one, like like their husband or wife or parents or children have died, and like they're doing some sort of trend on Instagram where they are showing off how much mourning they're in, and that's not good for my mental health. Then you get those videos, I don't even know how to talk about, like, you have videos where like there's like for like 98% of the reel, it's you think blah blah blah, but, and you know that they're building up to a scene change, but that scene with the but dot 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 is taking 98% of the video, and the rest percent, a small little frame, is like the answer to that. So they want you to rewatch it from the beginning over and over and over and see if you can catch what they're showing. You're getting reels where like someone's like, oh, me and my friend went to the ice cream truck, and then he ordered ice cream, and then like the screen goes dark and the person goes, and like the text says, when I realize what that means. And it's like, what do you mean when you realize what that means? The dude just wanted to get ice cream. What is wrong with you? Are you retarded? When I realize what that means. I'm playing checkers with this person and he moves one of his pieces forward. When I realize what that means. So I would catch myself looking through Instagram reels going, this is terrible. And then like after 10 minutes, I'm like, why am I still scrolling? Nothing good has popped up in the last 10 minutes, and in fact, on the contrary, it's all infuriating me. Not because it's like some controversial topic, it's just the logic behind the reels are so retarded that it gets me angry. So with that in mind, I decided, yeah, it is probably past the time I should be restarting some sort of mindfulness protocol in how I engage with the internet. And let me tell you, it has been great so far. It has been wonderful so far. I'm even surprised at some of the benefits that have come from this that we'll talk about later. But first, I want to sort of talk about my rules of how I engage with social media. There are 15 rules, which sounds very complex and convoluted, and it kinda is. I guess I don't need to go through all these rules. If you want me to go through these rules, if like you have no idea, if you want to do something like this yourself and you have no idea where to start and you want to hear my rules, let me know and I can make a video going through them and breaking down why I made them this way. But in summary, it's basically limiting how much and to what extent and when I can engage with social media or watch YouTube. The first rule I created going through YouTube was basically YouTube with its recommended content is meant to grab you forever. I shouldn't be telling you this because I want you to be watching my videos. Everything I say about YouTube does not apply to my channel. Please watch every video I make. There we go. I promise to not rot your brain with AI slop. But basically what I do with YouTube is I only look at my subscriptions. At the beginning of the day, I open up YouTube, I pull up my subscriptions, and I look at all the videos. And by the way, I have purged a lot of my subscriptions. So after that purge, only keeping the channels I'm actually interested in and actually interested in watching. After that purge, every day, look at my YouTube subscriptions, look at every video that's been released in the past 24 hours, and grab the URLs of the videos that are interesting to me, stick them in Notion where I can watch the video in Notion instead of using the YouTube website. Now, there are rules in how I pick how I harvest these YouTube videos. I can only harvest at most 5. Which sounds like, oh no, I have so many subscriptions I want to watch, how can I pick just 5? For the most part, I actually struggle to get to 5, because there are channels I'm interested in, and I'll subscribe, but then they'll release a video, and I'm like, I'm not sure about that one, boss. This, by the way, does not apply to my channel. You should be watching every one of my videos. But I will get 5 videos. That's the first rule, 5. At max 5, no more than 5. The second rule is their combined duration cannot be longer than 2 hours. If it is longer than 2 hours, I need to cut a video off. But that is basically my YouTube allowance for the day. Those are the videos I can watch. I'm not allowed to watch YouTube videos after 8 p.m. That's a rule I've set. But that reduces the amount of YouTube I watch tremendously. Social media. How do I deal with social media? That ultimately comes down to I've allowed myself to do a check of social media. By the way, no social media on the phone. I'm allowed to check social media on my PC 3 times a day. That's morning, afternoon, and evening. I am thinking I'll probably cut that down later in the future. But for now, it's 3. Instagram, the only reason I have Instagram is to see stories posted by people I care about and to respond to messages. So Instagram I check in the morning and I check in the evening. I don't check in the afternoon. X I check 3 times, but I follow like 500 accounts on X, but I have created a list of basically the 10 accounts I actually care about. The accounts that get me to actually check the website. And I only check that list, and that has become a much more manageable amount. I follow like 500 accounts. My list is like 10 guys. If I interact with you frequently on Twitter, you are probably one of the 10 guys that made it onto the list. But I check that list at those 3 points in time. And that's it. We could go into details about what I do with like Discord, YouTube comments, Substack, but I don't think we need to get into that much detail for this video. So what has the effects been of this digital minimalism project of mine? Digital minimalism, really, it's just social media and YouTube. I'm not really limiting my like video game time or anything like that, but at the same time, I've never really been addicted to video games. I've never had the addiction problem, partly because I have motion sickness, and if I play a game for too long, I get sick, and that sort of prevents me from like doing gaming for hours on end. So I'll still play Skyrim for about 30 minutes once a day or once every 2 days. But like I don't have any rules on like video games or Skyrim in particular because I don't have a compulsive gaming problem. But what has the effects of this been? Well, for one, it has given me a lot more peace of mind, a lot more tranquility, a lot more zen, which is good, because I don't have to see stupid posts on X all the time. I don't have to see posts on X that are supporting a heresy that was condemned at an ecumenical council over 1,000 years ago anymore. I don't have to see a lot of bullcrap on the internet anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw an Instagram reel where someone said, me and my friend went to the baseball game and he started singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game when I realized what that meant. You know, I don't see that stuff anymore, and it doesn't piss me off anymore because I don't see it anymore. So I'm much more at peace. Although at first there also was a type of anxiety that took its place about, well, what do I do now? So I'm just sitting there. This would be the time where I watch a YouTube video or browse X, but I can't do that anymore. So, what now? And so, for one, I found myself going to bed earlier, which is fun, and needed because sleep deprivation is real. But I found myself naturally being drawn towards hobbies and activities I would typically do if I hadn't been addicted to social media. Which is interesting for those of you on the whole self-improvement grind, right? And you're into things like trying to form habits. I would say what I've learned from this digital minimalism awareness season is that more so than trying to schedule in time for like habit building, I found that just taking out that social media time, cutting down on that alone, is naturally pulling me in more directions, giving me a more open schedule than I thought I had to begin with, and I am just naturally moving towards things that in the past I've tried to like fit into a schedule, into a time block as some sort of self-improvement program. And there is a lot more resistance on that in that style than just cutting out, the internet. I found myself first and foremost going back to reading, and you know me, you know I love to read, but this has helped me to get back to regularly reading again. Sometimes I don't feel like reading. I think my last book, I'll Take My Stand, took me a long time to read, and that really was just 12 essays. It took me a long time to read I'll Take My Stand because I just didn't read a lot of days. But I go back into digital minimalism, and lo and behold, I finish I'll Take My Stand in 3 days. I've brushed up on my Kindle. I had been reading books, especially ebooks, on my computer, but I'm starting to move back towards reading it on the Kindle, which is nice. Since I have the Kindle, I should probably use the Kindle. And it's good because I can take it with me to different places. And I've also been reading the Bible more. I had the habit of reading one chapter of the Bible per day outside of normal prayer and reading times. I've beefed it up to 2 chapters a day because I find myself with the extra time, and it's been great. I should be finishing the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew pretty soon. Later on, of course, I started to feel pulled more to doing walks, going out on walks, because what else are you gonna do, right? And partly due to my reflux esophagitis, I had sort of been letting my health fall to the wayside, partly because I had been doing some basic weightlifting, I had been doing some exercises before I got my reflux esophagitis, but when you get reflux esophagitis, your esophageal sphincter is basically scarred off, and your stomach acid is just like, it's like water in a cup, and you don't want to move the cup too much, because then the water is going to come out and spill, and in this case, it's stomach acid that destroys your esophagus. So I wasn't able to do a lot of physical activity in the early stages of the reflux esophagitis. I still have to be careful, but I have been finding that I am able to do a little bit more than I was able to back in January of 2025. So I've been naturally moving towards walking, and as I've been walking, and by the way, I've just started walking without listening to a podcast or music. I am just going on walks with nothing, with a notebook. I have a pad and pen that I sometimes keep to write any ideas I have, but I'm keeping the phone at home as I go on my walks, and it's just wonderful to hear the sounds of cars driving by. But since I'm starting to take my health, I'm starting to be more aware of my health, I've started to go back onto my little basic weightlifting routine, which has been fun. And it has helped me feel stronger, which is good, because I had felt like I was just a decaying bundle of bones the past few months. So starting actual, weightlifting, I'm doing basic dumbbell exercises at home, but doing that at least has been very helpful at helping me feel more alive. I've also had time to think about my diet, think about what I eat more than I had in the past. I'm moving back towards whole food, so that's good. This stuff is what surprised me the most, because usually it takes a lot of willpower for me to build up an exercise routine or being mindful of what I eat, and it's an uphill battle. But by cutting out social media, or not even cutting out, using social media mindfully to a moderate degree, has suddenly just naturally made me turn to these things more. That has been the most surprising thing about this digital minimalism project. This is where I see the resurrection coming, There are things like moving towards brushing up on my Japanese, which I had been neglecting for a long time, which is problematic when I live in Japan. Also problematic when I have a Japanese girlfriend who doesn't speak English, so I probably should speak Japanese to the best of my ability, all things considered. One of the impacts of this digital minimalism project that you can see most clearly is the fact that I have more time and I have more energy for making videos. I would not have the time and energy to make videos if I had been using social media all the time. Social media drains your energy, as in your emotional energy. I'm becoming blurry. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get blurry. But when you see something so stupid, that energizes you to go, oh, this is so stupid, right? And by taking some breaks from social media, I am able to have more energy than before. That was surprising to me too, because I had just been chugging coffee all the time the past year. Also, I'm starting to be able to get more creative ideas back. The first few days of this digital minimalism project, I was having no ideas. Zero. I was sitting in front of my video idea list of all the ideas I've had in the past and just had no motivation to make videos on these ideas, trying to make new ideas and just nothing coming to me. But now I'm getting that energy back, which is good. I do think AI probably also played a role in me lacking ideas. You know, I was using AI, LLMs, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini to sort of generate some ideas every now and then, or to even just chat to every now and then. I didn't take it too seriously. It was sort of a passing interest, like, oh, what's going on with this weird AI thing? Um, you know, I wasn't using it the way you see some people online that are really into AI and really into creating things with AI. I wasn't that level, but I was just, you know, a casual chat GPT or casually typing into chat GPT, hey, here are some concepts. What could we do with these concepts, right? And I'm realizing, oh, especially looking at the studies, there's a YouTuber. I think she would hate being called a YouTuber. Hillary Lane, is that her name? The Second Story. And she has a video on AI and how dangerous AI is. That's one of the greatest videos I can ever recommend on this platform. Go check out The Second Story's video on AI. But after watching that video, I'm like, oh, I need to destroy. I need to kill Grok, you know? So I don't use AI anymore. That's also banned completely. LLMs banned. I do have a Gemini's built into my Google Pixel, so I use it like Siri every now and then, but I don't use it that often. But I'm able to generate more ideas without having to rely on an AI thing, which is very intriguing, very interesting. I don't think we really fully grasp the risks that come with AI. Call me a Luddite if you want to. One of the last things I saw on X before I started this digital minimalism project was people calling anti-AI people Luddites as if that's an insult. And I'm like, people are using Luddite as an insult now. I need to back away. So those are some of the impacts of this digital minimalism project, and to be honest, I feel this sort of anxiety, this listlessness to want to try to do... is that the right word? Restlessness to try to do more. Other habits that I've let fall by the wayside, things like journaling. I'm like, let me do that, I want to do that, but I also don't want to burn out. So I'm putting that to the side, and I'm letting me slowly build up these regular habits that I had let decline in the past, and I will integrate these habits one by one. I don't want to burn out. I want this to be a lasting change. I want this to be how I interface with the internet from this time forth forevermore. This is a much better way of life. It is much closer to tradition. And you know how I feel about tradition. Hopefully I can keep this way of life. But I just wanted to share with you guys, you know, what has been going on with me, what's been going on with this digital minimalism thing, why have I been able to make more videos lately, why have I been at more peace lately, and it's because there's a resurrection happening. A resurrection that's happening, coincidentally, around the same time as the Feast of the Resurrection. And you know what, I thought it was a good 2 for 2, 2 birds with 1 stone type video, because this ties into Easter. But again, just to be clear, be addicted to my videos. Watch every single one of my videos. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. And have a fun... Is that a problematic thing to say now? I still post on X. I have a page on Notion where if I have an idea of a post I want to make, I type it in there first, and then when I go to a social media checkpoint, then I can post it. And then I will have time to see, was that actually a good idea to post that or not before I actually post it. But yeah, follow me on social media. Links are in the description, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Susan's on the frenzy and Jeff is on the